So hello everyone. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but I'm live and ready to talk to you about how to use public speaking to grow your business and your income, especially as an entrepreneur. So we're going to dive right in the next 30 minutes where I'm going to share with you not only the strategies, but also from my experience, what I've done as an entrepreneur to leverage my expertise in terms of the field and the industry that I operate in, but also in the work that I do on a day-to-day basis, leveraging that experience and that expertise to really support audiences with that insight, but also create an entire different revenue streams for me personally, and also drive business revenue to another level entirely. So I'm looking forward to talking to you all about that. Now, I'll start with a post I did that actually, when I announced I was doing this webinar, I did this post just a couple of days ago, and it triggered a lot of DMs and email conversations regarding how do you get paid speaking engagements, especially as an entrepreneur, running a business, running multiple initiatives. And I shared very candidly that about 70% of my paid speaking engagements still come directly from LinkedIn. A page on the internet that I don't pay for is social media, is my digital presence, and is by far the best traction for me to get access to paid speaking engagements from all over the world. And so I'll dive into why LinkedIn is such a crucial platform, especially in today's day and age, to stand out and show credibility and authority. But I want to start with this LinkedIn post because I want to share that, this is not, theoretical insights I'm going to be sharing. I'm sharing actual insights and strategies from personal experience, right? And so with that said, when I announced that, I want to really share how to do this, obviously I share that I understand that public speaking is probably the most powerful tool for an entrepreneur to really expand their visibility, create credibility. But people really underestimate the power of the global stage and how that makes people want to engage with you on a personal note and be able to close contracts, attract clients, expand. I've launched major initiatives with global institutions, powerful governments, powerful institutions, just by speaking on stage and sharing my story and sharing my journey and sharing my, my expertise on a global format. And so with that said, today I want to share several things. First and foremost, I do want to go over how public speaking can actually drive growth for you, the secret to getting paid to speak, even if you've never done this before, or if you've done it, but you're not really consistent. I want to share, especially how to use speaking gigs to really create lead generation for your business. Because ultimately, I hope that you're not here for visibility for clout purposes, that you're here to actually make a tangible result and return on investment for taking the time to come out of your business and speak on a stage that is actually going to bring back at least impact to the audience that you serve, but also bring back value and ROI for the business. And last but not least, how to actually really negotiate pricing with your fee and scaling this into actual price spin-off speaking business, right? In addition to your actual business. So you guys know my webinar formats are very short and sweet, 30 minutes or less. And I don't use PowerPoint really anymore. I use, these sheets. So if you want access to my notes that I'm using to have this conversation with you, feel free to let me know. And our team will send you these notes. You could DM me. You could comment notes, and then our team will also. First and foremost, I want to address institutional B2B side. I've closed major six-figure contracts just from public speaking engagements. And from a B2C side, it has been probably one of the best generation opportunity. It's better than ads. It's better than, marketing campaigns. It's better than podcast collaboration. Speaking on a stage, speaking on a digital platform gives you the access to be able to communicate, because that visibility creates opportunity where people are able to say, hey, I want to work with you and hear more, and gives you authority to close more deals. So whether it's my contract with Microsoft or IBM or Google, maybe LinkedIn, I remember I was speaking at an event and got LinkedIn to close on a sponsorship deal for one of our program initiatives. It has been driving institutional clients to my business. So that's the first thing. Speaking on stage shares with them your thought leaders so they know, yeah, you're the right person that they need to engage with. Host the event to have a conversation about whether you could bring that solution to my individual or the institution. That's the first thing. The second thing is express this wholeheartedly why I love LinkedIn. LinkedIn has done to my career and my business over the years. And I would say the first secret to getting paid, even if you're LinkedIn speaker method workshop is so popular. In and out. Can everyone hear me okay? I want to make sure everyone can hear me. Cool. Okay. So just to reiterate, the secret to getting paid to speak, even if you're new to the game, is really leveraging LinkedIn to create visibility, authority, and consistency of brand messaging, so people know that you're the right person for this domain of expertise to reach out to. And so, as always, I go through a full flesh and integration workshop where I'll help people execute on optimizing the LinkedIn profile and getting the profile ready for speaking engagements through my LinkedIn Speaker Method workshop. You could comment LinkedIn workshop on the thread, and that could give you access to that program where I go through the entire process of getting paid to speak, starting with your digital presence, right? And the most important thing to know is that LinkedIn is not just a resume platform. It's not just a clout chasing platform where you're just making an announcement about accolades and achievements that you're doing every other month. It's really mission critical for you to understand that it is also a gateway for people to get to know you and get to know why they should actually work with you in any capacity. So for me, the critical components that I have on my LinkedIn profile that gets me to convert that visibility into paid speaking engagement is three things. One, I do have a speaker brand statement on my LinkedIn profile where I share who I serve, what I do, and why I'm the best person to serve that audience. So if someone wants to bring me into their event or their program, they know in one sentence in that statement why I'm the best person to work with them. The second thing is that I have a speaker branding position. I would say traction, because I have photo and video highlights showcasing me as a speaker to showcase that thought leadership experience by having my speaking as one of my experiences on my list of experiences on LinkedIn, and it's showing that visibility under that bracket with photos and videos from past conferences and events. So that's, again, proof of concept. I'm not just saying that I'm a speaker by updating my title. I'm also showcasing traction of where I've spoken and engaged with audiences before. And last but not least is having a signature talk that's on my LinkedIn profile for people to be able to say, oh, yes, we would like to book you for this signature talk program and event. So very important that we are clear on that. Now, building our authority, one thing that I would say when it comes to really putting yourself out there, I have found that so many people speak on multiple different topics when trying to get paid to speak, and that actually creates less opportunity, not more opportunity. What you want to do is be known for one signature talk, so that right? So my signature talk is actually Entrepreneurship Without Borders. And what I do is I obviously, because of my signature talk, I'm consistently speaking about entrepreneurship, tech, startups, how to be resilient as a founder. And I do several posts about it, articles, webinars. As a matter of fact, a lot of my achievements and accolades center around entrepreneurship. So that thought leadership. I'm already experiencing it and thought leadership by my experience as a founder, right? And so when I'm reinforcing me speaker and speaking at events, to their guns of what they're already known for. So that's something I want to bring clarity to. The next thing I will say is how I use speaking engagements as a lead generation machine for my business is that one of the biggest things is making sure who my target avatar is. And we talk about this in the LinkedIn workshop where we talk about who are your target avatars and build a profile. Who are they? And like I said, my targets are actually twofold. One is B2C, so it's individuals who want to get coaching or consulting services from me to coach them on their personal branding and entrepreneurship endeavors. And then I have institutional clients who want to launch digital initiation projects or accelerator programs and want to bring me to speak to their constituents about this topic, which is entrepreneurship without borders. So for me, how I use speaking engagement as a lead generation, when I'm speaking on a subject, I give people a call to action. A lot of times when people are speaking on stage, they speak on the subject, but you don't give the audience the actual answer, which is what they're looking for. Is like after you've been inspired by your talk, after you've given them awareness or some type of insight or strategy or a framework, what do they do next? And your goal to create that lead generation and say that you are the solution for the next steps. I'm not just telling you what the solution looks like. I'm telling you that I'm going to help you execute on that solution. That's how you turn a speaking engagement into a lead generation machine, where anyone who hears you on stage, now I know that, oh, she brought awareness to this topic or to this issue or problem that I'm having. And now I know that she will also help me solve it. How do I engage with you to do a workshop? How do I engage with you to launch a project? How do I engage with you to get a consulting or one-on-one advisory? How do I engage with you past that 20 minutes of a keynote session to be able to work with you further? It's a call to action mechanism. And again, we go over this in the LinkedIn Method workshop. Now, price and negotiation, there's a whole section I have on this in the workshop where I talk about pricing and negotiation, because a lot of times, especially women speakers, we don't negotiate the best for ourselves, right? And so to get paid what you worth, the most important thing I will say, because I don't have time to go over all of it right now, but the most important thing that I will say is that it's not about, pricing and throwing a random number. At the end of the day, you are giving value in 20 minutes or less under a signature talk. So you got to give them the package solutions that come after that, right? And so one of the best things I always tell people is like, don't forget to look at the market, look at your competitors on SpeakerBirds. What are they charging? Are you in the same scope of work and experience as your competitors? So if I'm like, in the inspiration, entrepreneurship, and tech category, I'm looking at other people who are in the tech and entrepreneurship sector, like the founder of Y Combinator, or the founder of Techstars, or the founder of Airbnb. These are all very high level tech and entrepreneurship founders who are getting speaking engagements, but I'm also looking out all the way down to my peer group and seeing what is the range of speaking engagements that they are paid for, and see where do I fit in terms of scope of experience and uniqueness, because I'm very unique in my background, being Haitian, being American, having this global African diaspora perspective on entrepreneurship, and really hitting really unique milestones in my career very quickly. I know that also uniqueness factor as well, in addition to comparing the visibility and global iconic factor that people tend to do when they're looking at the mainstream speaker versus where they stand in the lineup. Okay. And also I always say, like, hey, ask them what their budget, framework is, because sometimes you might have a fee for 5K to speak for 20 minutes and they have a budget for 7K and above. So it's really seeing where you are getting paid your value, but based on what the market is dictating for your expertise and your uniqueness factor. And sometimes you got to also create that and define that uniqueness by sharing. First off, when I send a proposal about my speaking, when someone reaches out to me or when I reach out to them, I actually share tangibly the description of my keynote talk, the takeaway and objectives, and what audience I'm serving, so they know that, oh, yeah, this is worth the investment. So you got to showcase that you're worth the investment. That's because not because you said it on stage, but because you are telling them what the ROI of having you speak on that stage for 20 minutes or less. And last but not least, scaling a scalable business really starts with thinking about, do you want to create a separate brand for your content and thought leadership? And do you have enough bandwidth to create a pipeline system for that? Because a lot of people forget, to be a consistently paid speaker, you do have to have an outbound methodology for that. And I have shared this strategy many times before in boot camps, but also in the LinkedIn Method workshop, we go over how to really start with LinkedIn as a lead generation flow to start creating that pipeline sales system to be consistently in mode of closing paid speaking engagements throughout the year. Okay. So now that I got that out of the way of sharing with you those tangible insights that I know many of you wanted to hear, I want to get down to some personal examples of where I've applied all of these strategies that I share with you. So first and foremost, in terms of closing clients, contracts, and event sponsors, because I'm a three-time founder. I have multiple different organizations and businesses, and each one had different needs. Some were B2C, some were B2B, some were even business to government. And I could start with probably the most visible example that a lot of people have seen me do over the past decade is closing sponsors for probably the most impact legacy driven initiative of my life, which is founding Haiti Tech Summit. Haiti Tech Summit I founded in 2017, really out of frustration to change the narrative around Haiti and change possibility of what tech and entrepreneurship could do to accelerate diaspora coming back and investing in Haiti. Very inspirational program, very inspirational multi-year initiative. And I remember I was speaking at Davos and Unga Week events throughout the year prior to it, and prior to launching it. And I remember being on stage and having a single call to action where every time I'm speaking, I was like, if you want to, support the movement that I'm launching right now, starting from Haiti, and I'm going to bring this movement to the world, which I did. I expanded to about 40 plus different countries, launching a tech summit in Nigeria, Ghana, Rwanda, Saudi, Dubai. Like I went around the world with this tech movement, starting from Haiti. Let's, connect together offline and move forward. And I remember how I inspired a lot do in markets and around the world. But the call to action, I was able to close major sponsors like Forbes, Black Enterprise, Essence, Ebony Magazine, IBM, Intuit, Google, Facebook, you name it, some part of the tech sector was a part of this initiative I Hate Tech Summit over the past decade. And so this is a perfect example of speaking and closing resources, contracts, even clients from this program initiative to support and accelerate it forward. The second example I want to share with you guys is that, also, in terms of B2C, I have a coaching program. I have two signature coaching programs. One is the Personal Brand Academy, and the second one is the Speaker Brand Academy, formerly the Paid Speaker Career Accelerator. And both initiatives are the only live coaching programs that I do per year because I'm focus on my businesses. And so I only host them usually once or twice a year. And so when I'm in campaign and speaking, let's say the first quarter of the year, my call to action is given my signature framework around building a personal brand as an entrepreneur and this very volatile and unstable society that we're living in on a global scale, and sharing with people the framework that I use to teach and coach about how to really build a resilient, profitable, and scalable and impact-led personal brand in today's market as a speaker. And so I've been able to sometimes I'm able to close my cohort just from speaking on a stage, right? Where I'm generating 50K in addition to the payment that was given to me to speak at that event for 20 minutes, just closing, converting, and sharing the value of working with me again beyond the 20 minutes. Your goal when you're on that stage is to showcase why that 20 minutes is not enough for them to get everything that they need from you, that beyond 20 minutes there's so much value for them to tap into working with you in some type of capacity. Another example I have is, obviously closing part of South by Southwest for credits for my startup community at the Global Startup Ecosystem. We run the world's largest and first digital startup accelerator program, right? And so we are constantly looking for perks and credits and initiatives and support frameworks for our startup entrepreneurs. So at South by Southwest every year, I'm keynoting at that event, and I'm able to really get huge amount of partners and deals, simply not for me, but for my constituents of the global startup ecosystem, right? And so, and probably my best ones are my six-figure client deals where I'm speaking on stage. I will never forget this. I was speaking at, I was keynote at the YMCA, speaking in front of thousands of people. I was the headline keynote for that event in London, and I was able to close a major six-figure contract deal at the end of that program, right? Because the person was in the audience and see how I'm galvanizing the youth and say, hey, we actually want to do an initiative for the youth contract. Are you available? And I was able to close that deal. So these are tangible examples where you speak on stage and you give a call to action, leveraging the tactics I just shared, making sure that you create real visibility on LinkedIn to be able to leverage that stage opportunity to close deals. So with that said, the last thing I will say before I let you go, and you could start commenting and providing questions so I can start answering them, is every time I get on stage, I want to make clear how I turn it into revenue for my business, income streams for my personal brand, and global visibility for the initiatives and the communities that I serve was first and foremost, I was extremely clear from the jump on what I do, who I serve, and why. That way, the audience and stakeholders listening to me speak on stage or online knew exactly why there was an alignment between us and why they need their needs, desires. And it clearly leads to clients and contracts because once they know what I'm offering, that 20 minutes is more of an introduction, right? So they're like, hey, let's follow up and see if we could, leverage your solution or your framework to be able to work together offline. The second thing is, and this is probably the biggest one, because I've seen so many people come into my, I've been speaking for free. I even get standing ovation. I do so well. I rock the boat. But I never get an invite for paid engagements. And that's because you are looking at speaking engagements as a performance and not an introduction. It wasn't about, number two, it's not about performing the best on stage as a speaker. It's about showcasing why you deserve more than 20 minutes of the audience time. Because if you're giving high value in 20 minutes, it's not just about, satisfying them with 20 minutes of great performance, inspiring words in 20 minutes and be done. I was always making sure that I share with them 20 minutes is not enough for you to get the best value out of me, even though I'm going to rock the mic, right? So never try to create a moment. Try to create a connection with your audience because this leads up to follow-up contracts and offers to collaborate off stage. So my goal in that 20 minutes, again, is to make it turn into a connection, an introduction into more ways that we could collaborate to really drive home the value of what I'm doing. That means I'm not overwhelming people with a lot of information in 20 minutes. I see people sometimes they're running at the speed of light when they're on stage. I'm not just trying to inspire them and then they feel like, oh, that's inspiring to hear your journey, but they don't see themselves in my storyline, right? How do you connect with people where people are saying like, look, you understand my problem and I want to work further to adopt the solution that you applied in your life and to your clients and to your constituents. I want to be a part of that community, right? So second, it's not about performing, it's about really making that introduction. And last but not least, I made sure my LinkedIn page was ready, y'all. Anytime I got on a stage, I knew there's going to be a windfall of inbound visibility. So I made sure that I optimized my LinkedIn profile. I made sure that I use on my deck, like ways for people to connect with me offline. I have like a QR code or email, so it's easy for people to follow up me. And those were the three things that every single time I stepped on stage led to such an ease of converting the audience into further collaborators, stakeholders, clients, contract makers, partners, just significant people, accelerating my business initiatives, my impact initiatives, and my business brand and personal brand globally. So hopefully this past 25 minutes was insightful. If you got a lot of value out of this, very short, concise, but to the point webinar, I would love to invite you to join me for a full 2-day workshop that I'm hosting at the end of this month. And it's you can have access to the automatic recordings right now and get access to it and get started right available. But I'm also hosting a live version of this at the end of the month. So my LinkedIn Speaker Method workshop is now live. You could get access to it right now. I'll put the link in the comments as I'm waiting for questions right now for you guys to access. This is a full layout of me walking from start to finish, what you need to optimize on your LinkedIn, what you need to say, what you need to cover, and how to create credibility on your LinkedIn profile so that way you can move forward, okay? So we'll love to be able to support you guys with that program. It's a really powerful program. Let me make sure I just send this out for you guys right here. And if you guys have any questions, now is the time. I see a couple of people commenting for access to the notes. Yes, once you just comment, my team will follow up and DM you or email you the notes from today's session. So that way you could just, copy and paste or work alongside to keep those notes to leverage as a checklist for yourself to be able to move forward. So that will be the way for you to join me also for further communications offline regarding this. So again, I definitely want to invite you guys to join me for that workshop. So that way you're able to really get in depth and go from this conversation that we're having to actually executing. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Is one of those days, but in summary, if you want to leverage public speaking to accelerate and grow your business income, like I shared before, one, having a powerfully optimized LinkedIn profile, share some insights about what I did do already. Second, making sure that you have a tangible call to action at the end of every speaking engagement that showcases the framework and solution that you have and how you could solve that problem for that client or institution offline. And third, being very clear on the fact that, working with you, this is just simply an introduction, that you have more value to provide offline as you complete your stage presence with that community or with that audience. With that said, again, I do want to invite you all to keep this going. Let's execute and put this in actual practice. If you want my support, you can also email my team at hello@christineandtim.com if you have further questions about the LinkedIn Speaker Method Workshop or any of the programs, my signature program at the Speaker Brand Academy. But either way, I do want to make sure that this was hopefully insightful in 30 minutes or less, that you could go out there and leverage, even if it's to reshape your thinking around the possibilities that are available to you as an entrepreneur to get on stage and create new visibility for your business. Because right now, business is tough. The economy is tough. Things are slowing down. And I actually think the typical method of just running ads or doing, collaborations or partnerships, it's not converting the way it used to, right? And so this is where you could seize back control, build your personal brand and build your business brand to create sustainable growth beyond your expectations. So I hope that sank in. The possibilities are endless and available to you to do this. And I look forward to seeing you again, same time in the same place next week. And of course, for those of you who want to take a tangible practical session with me to deep dive and actually execute on this, I welcome you to join me for the LinkedIn Speaker Method Workshop that's going live for you to access the full breadth of how to turn your LinkedIn into an optimized opportunity to create visibility for your business and your personal brand in the form of speaking engagements and other collaborative opportunities. LinkedIn is a magical place. I can't stress that enough. And I look forward to seeing many of you on the other side of this. Thank you so much for joining me, and really appreciate your time and efforts, everyone. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.